I was involved in cheerleading and gymnastics, and there was a lot of things that I did that I had no clue were such a distraction.
So Michelle, when Michelle thought that she was out being a cheerleader and kind of dancing around out there in a short skirt, she thought all these people in the crowd, all these guys, were getting excited about team spirit, and she had no clue how guys thought.
And how defrauding that was, because defrauding is stirring up desires in someone that cannot be righteously fulfilled.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, Tough Topic. My name is Brittany, and as if part 1 of the Duggar family secrets exposed couldn't be any more disturbing, it gets worse. If you watched my part 1 of this series, you found out that JimBob and Michelle Duggar was holding on to the secret abuse from their golden child, Josh, dear to their hearts. We already know so much now, thanks to, of course, police reports, news articles, and Jill's book. But there are still so many things that were done to protect Josh and his demons instead of looking at the bigger picture of how that can affect the victims in the actual Duggar home. This goes way back to the teachings of the IBLP, which is the organization, or as we now like to call it, the cult, that the Duggars and the Bates family followed. Following the principle from the cult leader Bill Gothard, it's said that if a young woman is assaulted, they are to forgive their assaultee and understand that in some way the assaultee was defrauded. Whether that came from temptation in the streets, online, or even within their own home. The females are told to dress a certain way so that none of the boys are being defrauded and being tempted to look, and that will bring on temptations to do things like assault. And yes, that includes their own family members. But let's fast forward to Josh moving out of the home and the big Ashley Madison affair that was exposed. Josh was on the list with many others that were having affairs, and this is what rocked the boat. It's not about what happened that got everybody stirred up in the show being canceled. It was just Josh admitting to cheating and him having a pee addiction, which he later took back in a statement. And it was multiple times. Anna, she did share her devastation on a couple interviews. The entire family actually did interviews sharing their thoughts on the affair. But strangely enough, Josh himself never publicly spoke out. He just gave a generic statement online apologizing. So the show was then canceled shortly after, but they were not done. Or should I say JimBob wasn't done. Instead of pushing everyone out of the reality TV opportunity, JimBob says that, you know what, there's another way about it. We're going to keep the show going with the kids who are married, and we're just going to leave Josh and his family out of it. Now, keep in mind, although that's how it's supposed to be originally, slowly Josh and his wife started appearing on the show. Josh was not on camera, but we knew he was around. So the show is called now Jill and Jessa Counting On. But here's what's so disturbing about this new so-called opportunity that was presented. Jill and Jessa were the main contributors to the show, but they were not paid at all. They did not have a say on what was to be filmed. And Jill said in her book that she told producers and her dad that she did not want to film her birth. However, her dad told her that this is part of serving God, just like any mission. And guess what? Her birth was filmed. It's so sad how JimBob manipulated the situations to make Jill feel guilty if she is refusing certain parts of her life to be exposed. It's almost as if she's going against her parents, which that's like going against God. JimBob wasn't even a part of the show at all. That's the funny thing about it. And guess who racked in all the money from the Counting On show? Mr. JimBob. Having them go in front of the cameras, again, exposing vulnerable moments is a form of trafficking, in my opinion. But needless to say, more disturbing truths will come out just a few years later. So stay tuned and subscribe so you will not miss out on part 3.